What is up, y'all? Mrs. Mime 100 here with another tip video for you. This is going to be a general tip video in terms of safety and just basic etiquette here in New York City. It's kind of applicable for anybody coming to visit the city, and I'm also going to add on some very specific things for NYC Go Fest if you're coming here for the Pokémon GO Fest in August of 2023. So, let's jump in. First off, some basic etiquette things. One, if you are walking on the sidewalk, move at the speed that everyone else is going. If you plan to slow down, if you need to stop, do not stop in the middle of the sidewalk. That is the most... that is the biggest red flag that you are either a tourist or from out of town. So what you want to do is step to the side, step potentially to the curb, but preferably like against maybe a building, but not in front of an active doorway. If the building is like, there's a doorway, but like maybe it's a closed down business or something, yeah, that's fine maybe to like stand in front of it if you can. But not if it's an active doorway. Like, if it's an apartment building, if it's a Starbucks or something, do not be standing right in front of the doorway. But do step aside if you need to stop or slow down and not move at the same pace as everyone else. Also, in terms of walking on the sidewalk, do not walk more than like one or two people shoulder to shoulder. If you're in a larger group, like, spread out. Have people walk behind you, have people walk in front of you, that is okay. But like, sidewalks can get pretty tight. People are coming this way, the opposite direction, and you're going that way. You gotta be considerate, right? So don't be hogging the sidewalk with your group. That's not okay. You're gonna get some side-eye from people. Very similarly, if you're going on to public transportation, specifically if you're going down into the subway station, you might notice that like when trains let out or like during rush hour or something, like there are a lot of people coming in one direction at the same time. And if you're coming from the opposite direction, you should wait. Unless you're in like a dire rush, you should wait. You should also like pay attention if there are people behind you. If those people look like they're in a rush, then you should go. But you should also follow the general direction of like American like driving traffic. So like we drive on the right side, so like walk down or walk up on the right side and the other people will walk on their right side, right? Some more public transportation etiquette is that when you're getting on the subway, the train is pulling into the station and you're waiting for the doors to open, do not stand directly in front of the doors, because you need to allow the people that are on the train getting off to get off the train first. So kind of step off just to the side. Like if these are the doors and I'm standing right in front of it, don't do that. Stand like kind of like over here, like just off to one side or like one side over here. That way the people can come out and then you can go right in. If there are a lot of seats around, then don't sit directly next to a stranger that you do not know. Sit somewhere else. No one wants to be sat directly next to when there are other spaces you could be sitting. Just as a heads up. This is a real like deep cut New Yorker hot tip, which is that if you are waiting for a train, the train pulls in and it looks like it is completely packed full of people, but there's one car that looks very empty. Like it looks like there's nobody on it for some reason. Step away from that car immediately. People are not getting on that train for a very specific reason. Another safety tip that I would recommend, especially for Pokemon Go players if you're coming to the city, is do not stare down at your phone for long periods of time. I know that's really hard when you're going to be in the city playing Pokemon Go like all weekend long, right? The problem is, like, you never know who's like watching you from the corner of their eye or like following you from behind to wait for that vulnerable moment to snatch your phone out of your hand and like run with it. That's happened before. Like, honestly, like I've heard horror stories of people who are just like holding their phone or whatever, or they're like trying to listen to music and like someone just comes up behind them and just like snatches their phone. It's not great. So ways to prevent that, just like you know, stay in small groups. Be mindful of your surroundings. Definitely look up. Like, don't just stare at your phone eagerly the entire time. Watch where you're going. Again, to my earlier point, like, walk at a steady pace on the sidewalk. Like, if you are slowing down traffic behind you, if there are people like trying to get around you, like, be mindful, you know, because you never know. If you like happen to be staring at your phone because you're eagerly like checking all the Pokemon or whatever, and you're slowing down some people, but some people behind you might have some anger issues, you never know. Like, I just want all of y'all to be safe when you come to the city, and just be mindful, because you want to have a really good time, and I know you want to have a really good time. But these are just some general safety tips. Another sort of tip, which is that New York City water is actually safe to drink from the tap. Some people don't prefer it. What we're told is that it does come directly from the mountains in upstate New York, and it is pretty pristine in that way. There are like public parks that have water fountains or like water bottle like filling stations. Like, you can fill your water bottle up there for free. That's probably tap water. Food. Okay, so for food, I'm gonna drop like an entire video about like my food recommendations in the city. I know like that is people's biggest ask of me, and I have so many recommendations that it's hard to like compile them into one video so far. So what I'm probably gonna do is like one like all my awesome recommendations, and also one for like the vegan and vegetarian folks, because I feel like that's sort of like a specialized diet thing that people would be interested in. And also there are a lot of good vegan and vegetarian restaurants I would recommend too. Anyway, some things to note. When you're dining in a restaurant, you are expected to tip 15 to 20%. That's pretty standard in the United States, but you should definitely do it. And the reason I say that is because these waitstaff folks are paid below minimum wage because of this tipping policy. So they get paid like very, very low base pay, and tipping is kind of expected. So 15 to 20% of the main bill is sort of like a good ballpark. If you want to do like quick maths, that for New York City, that's like, if you want to double the tax that your food is, like, that's probably a good amount for a tip. You can always give a little bit more if they were really extra good service. If you're getting takeout or like coffee from places, they'll like flip the tablet to you, and like you can select a tip and then sign the thing. Tipping is not expected for takeout. It's sort of started happening in like 2020 and onward, where that screen pops up even if you're getting takeout, and like some people get nervous and just like give them a tip anyway because they're being really nice, but it's not expected. So like, don't feel bad if you don't tip for a takeout order. Now, if you are dining in though, that is when you should leave that 15 to 20% plus tip. You know, you might note too, if you are in like larger groups, I think it's usually like tables of like 6 or more, somewhere around there, they might actually add the tip already. Like, gratuity might be already pre-added to your bill, in which case you do not need to leave an extra amount of tip. That sometimes happens. Just as a heads up, don't feel obligated that you need to tip on top of that. You certainly can. Don't get me wrong, you totally can if the service is like spectacular and you're like, yes, I want to highlight this amazing service that we've had today. Sure, feel free to leave some extra tip, but if it says gratuity included already, you don't have to feel obligated. I should clarify though, by takeout, I mean if someone is delivering the food from a restaurant to your residence or your hotel or whatever, you should still tip them 15 to 20%. Maybe if you ordered off an app, you can do it in the app. Otherwise, you should give them cash. Cash is fine. But yes, but if it's takeout, like you physically going to the restaurant saying, I'm picking up an order, you don't necessarily have to tip them. But if a delivery person comes to you, then yes, you should tip the delivery person. Something else to mention, which I will be putting out its own dedicated video about traveling to and from specifically the airports. But for taxi cabs and like, hi Logan, for cabs and like Ubers and Lyfts and things like that, there's a lot of safety around that too, and that this is like general like safety around those kinds of things, not just New York City. But one, do not get into like a random cab. Like there might be people on the side that are like petty cabs that are like, hey, we'll give you a ride, like we'll give you a ride, whatever. And some of those are scams because they know you're tourists, you're gonna get in the car, they're gonna get you where you are and charge you like double what they should. I wouldn't recommend just getting in random cars. The yellow cabs are generally pretty safe, like those are like regulated by the city. I don't know anything about the prices quite yet, we'll talk about that in another video, but that is just something to keep in mind. But yeah, if somebody's trying to like lure you into their car, it even sounds sketchy when I say it, like maybe not. Maybe try one of the apps, which I'll also mention in the description of this video. I have a few like referral links for Lyft as well as Revel, which is a car service that's available in New York City that runs exclusively on electric cars. So if you're looking to be environmentally friendly, there's some discount codes down there, and again, they're referral codes, so they give me a little bit of credit too. Totally up to you, no pressure to use them at all, but in case you're looking for something like that rather than, you know, sketchy guy at the airport trying to lure you into the back of his sedan, don't do that. One more thing, editing mine here. I remembered one other important thing. If you're getting out of an Uber or Lyft or taxi cab or whatever, look out the window before you open the door, and do it slowly because bikes come at you. They're in the bike lane, the taxis stop in the bike lane, they shouldn't do that. But you could hurt yourself or someone else if you don't look before you just swing the door open. Just etiquette, reminder, safety, all that. Back to the video. Also to note of like Ubers, Lyfts, car services, things like that, make sure the license plate matches what's in the app. There's some safety concerns there, I've heard a number of times and seen on social media. Just be mindful, right? And like they should know your name when you get in the car because they see it on the app, and like you should know their name when you get in the car too. And the car should like relatively match also. Sometimes what I've heard from drivers is that the color of the car in the app might not match exactly the color of the car IRL, because like the standard image of like a blue Toyota Camry is like a dark blue, but in real life this guy's Toyota Camry is like a bright blue. That's just like the app not being great. But again, like just match the license plates, verify that that's the driver is the driver that you're looking for before you get in any vehicles. I have a couple more safety tips before we move on, but I do want to mention that if you saw my last video, we are doing a giveaway for a Global Go Fest ticket. All you have to do is write the secret word of the day in the comments below of this video, and today's secret word is coffee. Drop that word in the comments below, and you'll be entered to be eligible to get a Global Go Fest ticket on me. We will announce the winner like July 9th. I'll be traveling out to Portland for Squirtle Community Day, so any video I drop between now and then, I'll put a secret word in the video, and you just have to write it in the comments below, and you'll be eligible. So you can enter multiple times, obviously, if you watch every video and drop every secret word in every video. Back to the safety tips. If you're going through places like Times Square, you will notice that there are a lot of like costume people trying to like take pictures with you, and you'll start to see signs. Actually, I think the city has started to crack down a little bit and put like official signs to say like, hey, these costume people are going to expect tips from you if you take a picture with them. So if you do not intend to pay, do not go up to them to take a picture with them, because they will get very mad at you if you do that. I've seen so many tourists just get deer in headlights because they're like, what just happened? Yeah, don't be like that. If you want to take a picture, by all means, that's your obligation, but just know that you're gonna have to tip those costumed folks. Another thing to look out for is, like, sometimes there are these guys on the sidewalk, like, promoters, I guess, is some way to put them. But basically they try to hand you things like CDs, and just don't take them. I'm just gonna tell you now, don't take them. Basically what they're doing is, like, they're trying to, like, sell their music or whatever, but they do it as if they're handing out free samples. And this one time, I have to tell you, this one time this lady was so in the zone. She was walking in front of me. She was going. This guy hands her a CD and she's like, yep, okay. And then she keeps walking. And I have never heard a man yell so loud in the middle of a sidewalk being like, hey! And then she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, like, they're expecting that you're gonna pay for that, even though they look like they're handing out free samples. So, yeah, free looking CDs, don't take those. Another general tip that I would recommend, and this would probably be recommended for Go Fest, specifically Pokemon Go Fest. Closed-toed shoes, just like sneakers. Boots, your feet are probably gonna get tired by wearing boots, but like sneakers that you don't care that much about. Maybe not like too fancy because you'll draw some attention to you. But like comfortable shoes is what I will say. Last general etiquette thing. Just like be respectful. Just be respectful of the people around you. Alright, I think that's gonna be it for this video because we've already been recording for like half an hour. I don't know how this video is gonna edit out, but yeah. Let me know in the comments below if this was helpful, and be sure to drop the secret word of the day in the comments below to be entered for a chance to win a Global Go Fest ticket on me. Thank you again so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, and I will see you all next time.